We're re-diving into the abyss to count down the top 10 most creepy creatures that lurk in total darkness, thousands of feet below the surface. Starting our nightmare countdown at number 10, we have the giant Isopod. Imagine a pill bug the size of a small dog, but with the face of your worst nightmares. These armored creatures can grow up to 20 inches long and weigh over 3 pounds. They look like alien facehuggers crawling across the ocean floor in complete darkness. But here's what makes them truly creepy. They can survive without eating for 5 years. When they do find food, they gorge themselves until they can barely move, sometimes eating so much they can't even swim properly. Picture this nightmare. You're diving in the deep ocean, and suddenly dozens of these armored aliens start crawling toward you from the darkness. They've been called living fossils because they've remained virtually unchanged for millions of years, perfecting the art of being absolutely terrifying. At number 9, we return to the vampire squid, but this time focusing on just how creepy this living nightmare really is. Living in the ocean-s vampire zone where oxygen levels are so low that most creatures would suffocate, this alien horror has evolved to thrive in conditions that would kill almost everything else. When threatened, it literally turns itself inside out, revealing rows of spines that make it look like a biological weapon from hell. But here's the truly nightmarish part. It can eject clouds of bioluminescent mucus that glow in the darkness like ghostly slime. Imagine encountering this in the pitch-black depths. A creature that glows like a demon shoots alien slime and can contort its body into shapes that shouldn't exist. It doesn't even need to hunt. It just floats through the darkness like a living ghost, feeding on marine snow that drifts down from above. Number 8 is a living fossil that looks like it swam straight out of prehistoric nightmares, the frilled shark. This living fossil has remained virtually unchanged for 80 million years, which means it was terrorizing the oceans when T-Rex ruled the land. It looks more like a sea serpent or eel than a modern shark, with 300 needle-sharp teeth arranged in 25 rows, designed to grab prey and never let go. Here's what makes it absolutely terrifying. It can unhinge its jaw like a snake to swallow prey nearly as large as itself. Living up to 5,000 feet deep in complete darkness, this prehistoric monster moves like a serpent through the water, striking with lightning speed. When marine biologists first caught one on camera, they thought they'd discovered some kind of sea monster. Honestly, they weren't wrong. At lucky number 7, we have the Barreleye fish, a transparent-headed nightmare that looks like it belongs in a horror sci-fi movie. This creature's head is completely transparent, like a living glass dome, and its tubular eyes can rotate inside its see-through skull. Imagine looking at this thing in the darkness and seeing its green eyes staring at you through its transparent head. It's like a biological horror movie come to life. But here's the creepy part. Those aren't even its real eyes. What look like eyes on the front of its face are actually nostrils. Its real eyes are inside its head, looking upward through its transparent skull, searching for silhouettes of prey swimming above. It's basically a living submarine periscope with a see-through head, lurking in the darkness and watching everything above it. The stuff of nightmares. Number 6 has the most terrifying name and appearance to match, the Fangtooth fish. Don't let its small size fool you. This deep-sea demon has the largest teeth relative to body size of any fish in the ocean. Its fangs are so large they can't even close their mouths properly, and they have special sockets in their skull to prevent the teeth from piercing their own brain. Living up to 16,000 feet deep in absolute darkness, these nightmare fuel fish have evolved some of the most sensitive lateral line systems in the ocean. They can detect the slightest movement in the water from incredible distances. Picture this horror. In the pitch-black depths, this demon fish can sense your every movement and come swimming toward you with those massive fangs ready to strike. They look like they were designed by someone's worst nightmares. At number 5, we have the Gulper eel, a living nightmare that can unhinge its jaw to swallow prey larger than itself. This abyssal horror can grow up to 6 feet long, but here's the truly terrifying part: its massive mouth can open wide enough to swallow prey much larger than the eel itself. When it opens its jaw, it looks like a living black hole in the depths of the ocean, but the nightmare doesn't end there. When threatened, its stomach glows with bioluminescent light, turning the eel into a living lantern of horror in the darkness. It can also tie itself in knots to help push large prey down its throat. Imagine encountering this in the deep, a serpentine creature with a mouth like a cave opening, glowing from within like some kind of biological demon. It's basically a living nightmare that can swallow things that shouldn't fit inside it. Taking the number for Spot is something so alien, so impossible looking, that scientists aren't even sure if it counts as one creature or thousands. The giant siphonophore. This isn't actually a single animal, but a colony of specialized creatures working together to form one massive, snake-like horror that can grow over 150 feet long, longer than a blue whale. It drifts through the darkness like a living nightmare string of lights, each segment glowing with bioluminescence. Here's what makes it truly terrifying. Each part of this colonial horror has a different job. Some parts are mouths with stinging tentacles that can paralyze prey instantly, others are stomachs, others are reproductive organs. It's like a living alien spaceship made of biological nightmares. When prey gets caught in its stinging tentacles, the paralyzed victim gets passed along the creature's body like it's being processed by some kind of biological factory of horror. Encountering this in the darkness would be like meeting a living alien mothership. At number 3, we have perhaps the most famous deep-sea horror, the anglerfish. But wait until you hear just how nightmarish these creatures really are. The female anglerfish is a living demon with a bioluminescent lure that dangles in front of its massive mouth like a biological fishing rod. But here's the truly horrifying part: the males are parasitic. When a tiny male finds a female, it bites onto her and literally fuses with her body, becoming a permanent sperm-producing organ. Some females have multiple males attached to them, creating these multi-headed nightmare creatures straight out of Lovecraftian horror. The female can grow up to 7 feet long with a mouth full of translucent, needle-sharp teeth, while the parasitic males are just grotesque bumps on her body. In the pitch-black depths, all you would see is that glowing lure floating in the darkness, until it's too late and you realize it's attached to a biological horror with a mouth like a cave full of glass daggers. At number 2, we're revisiting the blobfish, but this time seeing it as the deep-sea horror it really is in its natural environment. While everyone knows the blobfish as a pink blob on the surface, deep underwater it's actually a terrifying gelatinous predator. Living at depths where the pressure would instantly crush a human, the blobfish is basically a living nightmare made of jelly that ambushes prey in the darkness. Here's what makes it creepy: it has no muscles whatsoever. It's just a mass of gelatinous tissue that floats motionlessly in the darkness, waiting for prey to swim close enough. Then it opens its massive mouth and sucks in everything nearby like a biological vacuum cleaner. Imagine swimming in complete darkness and suddenly feeling yourself being sucked towards something you can't even see, a shapeless mass of living jelly with a mouth like a cave. It's basically a biological horror that doesn't even need to move to be absolutely terrifying. And finally, our number 1 most creepy deep-sea creature, the zombie worm, also known as Ozydax, and trust me, it lives up to its horrifying name. These nightmare creatures are bone-eating worms that literally consume the skeletons of dead whales on the ocean floor. But here's where it gets absolutely horrifying. The females are the ones you see, boring into bones with acid they secrete from their bodies, while the microscopic males live inside the females as parasites. But wait, it gets worse. Some species of zombie worms have been found boring into the bones of other dead sea creatures, and here's the truly nightmarish part. Scientists have found evidence that these creatures might even attack living animals if they re-weak or dying. They look like alien plants growing out of bones on the seafloor, but they're actually biological horror shows that dissolve bone with acid and consume the nutrients. Each plant is actually a colony of worms living inside a bone, slowly eating it from the inside out. When a whale dies and sinks to the ocean floor, these zombie worms transform the skeleton into what looks like an underwater graveyard covered in alien vegetation. The most terrifying part: they've been found at depths of over 13,000 feet, meaning they're thriving in Earth's most alien environment, turning the deep ocean floor into a biological horror movie where the dead doen't rest. They become food for zombie worms. Which deep-sea nightmare gave you the chills? Sweet dreams, everyone! And remember, these creatures are swimming around in the darkness right now, thousands of feet below us.